प्रणाम स्वामी विवेकानंद, प्रणाम माँ अनबोधि। हमारे स्टूडियो में आप दोनों का स्वागत है। आप ओशो से काफ़ी टाइम से जुड़े हुए हैं, उनके काम में भी लगे हुए हैं, तो आज आप हमारे से बातें करें कि कब मिलना हुआ ओशो से, कैसे हुआ और आगे यात्रा कैसे चली। इसके पहले आप अपने जो ओशो को मिलने के पहले की जो आपकी लाइफ थी वो थोड़ा बताइए, तो एक बेस बन जाएगी उस बात।
Sure. I'm from South India. I'm from a village in Karnataka where I grew up in the nature. Then I moved to Bangalore for my engineering and studies. I started working in the IT industry starting from 1990.
Okay.
So I was in the technology industry, and just before I had two introductions to Osho during that period. Actually, a close friend of mine had mentioned Osho. That was the first time I knew somebody who is into Osho. Then, many people at that time also got into the startup fever. That was not normal at that time. So my family was wondering what I am doing, quitting my job and trying to start a company. So I got into with some friends, we started a company, technology company. That was the second introduction to Osho. One of the co-founders from US, he was a sannyasin. So he had gifted me a set of 7 cassettes.
Okay.
Which was with me, so there was a seed of starting the company. Along with that, there was also seed of Osho.
Okay.
However, the moment I opened one of the cassettes and played, it was talking something about impermanence of relationship and things like that. I said, I was very happily married and I was very successful in my career, and I had built a company like me and my friends. I was managing India division, which was like close to 100 plus engineers.
Okay.
And being happily married and settled, I felt this is not relevant to me. So I kept the whole cassette aside and I continued my work. So it was in 2001, 3 years after we started company, that is when the things started changing in my life. So should I get into how I came into Osho?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
continuing the story from there itself.
You take your time,
Sure.
no hurry.
And so in 2001, kind of the ground I was standing on collapsed, my marriage collapsed.
Okay.
And suddenly, like, there was a void. Even after being successful in the career, there was certain void, and I could not really get myself together anywhere because I had seen the success, I had seen what it is to be successful in career. I could not see any future anywhere there. The only thing which gave me a little bit of breathing space was some spiritual book. It was a Buddhist book.
Okay.
I felt at least I can breathe here. There is fresh air.
Okay.
I didn't even read the book. Just opening the page, I felt, oh, at least I can breathe.
Okay.
So I decided to experiment with life and tried some random things, traveling, scuba diving, and I said I will go and travel. So that's when I went to Leh Ladakh.
Where did you go?
Leh Ladakh was Ladakh was my first destination.
Okay.
So there somebody introduced me to, I went and booked in a nice proper hotel and I stayed, and then I met some movie script writer from Bombay. We started talking. So he told me that is not the way to travel, you will not meet real life. He introduced me to actual backpacking, a small guest house. So when I started traveling, I realized I have been doing a lot of things in life and achieving it because I wanted them, not necessarily because that is what was required for me. So during backpacking, there was certain synergy with life. So it started flowing. I still feel excitement when I talk about that. That was a new discovery for me. So I don't have to put a lot of effort. Things happen. So that took me to Nepal. The backpacking took me to Nepal. And I was learning some healing technique, body work at one of the centers in Nepal. That is when just the day before my flight back to Bangalore, sitting at a breakfast table, somebody mentioned there is a Osho center in Nagarjuna forest. I had not known much about Osho, okay, whatever controversy we read in the news, all of that is okay. But moment that was said, something shook in me. There was something deeper than what my mind or even heart can grasp. So I knew that that message was for me. So then I cancelled my ticket, postponed my ticket, went to Osho Tapovan, attended camp. I said I will not read any book because I will not let my intellectual mind come. I will experience. If something clicks with me, then only. So I was not thinking, I was not contemplating. I just participated. It was fun. It's right in the nature, dense Nagarjuna forest, and it was a 7-day camp. So at the end of the camp was day of sannyas. And again I said, I'm not going to decide intellectually. I don't know whether I should take sannyas or not. I only know I had a mast group and I'm feeling juice of life, dancing and doing all these crazy meditations, and intensity was also so much. My feet was like completely scratched out on that hard carpet, dancing so much. So that morning I said, I'm not going to decide. Let me see what happens. After breakfast I went and sat in one place and something happened, something transpired. And that was like a deeper indication. And I said, okay, I'm ready for sannyas.
Okay.
So I took initiation.
From Swami Arun.
Swami Arun.
Okay.
Came back to Bangalore. They did not know where I went because
He gave you this name, Vivekanand.
he gave me the name Swami Vivekanand.
Okay.
And then I came to Bangalore, came to the office. They did not know where I went for last final month. I was lost communication with everybody. I didn't want anybody to interfere in my journey. So I came back and I told my team, which we had built together, like everybody was in a way more than family. We went through really tough situations together. So I told them, this is my new name and I need to settle into this name and discover what it means. So I'm going to quit and I'm going to go on backpacking. So I booked a ticket to East Asia. I resigned.
You resigned the company.
I resigned the company. Then I started applying to passport office and things like that to change my name officially.
Oh.
So I wanted to see this new life, what it means. So that's how my journey started.
Very interesting. Always like jumping in insecurity.
Yeah, I think that seed was put in by Osho somewhere. So to think of it, me taking risk, coming from a small agriculture family, studying in a local language medium, and then jumping into, I'm not from a business family, but jumping into starting a company, or even for that matter, falling in love itself was a adventure in our family. That was not a norm at that time. So I think
You didn't have any children.
I didn't have any children. To think of it, I had no reason not to have children. Now it makes sense.
Okay.
From this perspective, it explains. I had no reason why not to have any children.
Okay.
But good, I'm happy that I could get this freedom without putting anybody's life at
responsibility.
yeah.
So what happened next? You went to Asia.
I traveled in East Asia, and it was very interesting. It was very, very fulfilling experience for many reasons. One is, yes, I was working and people come and thank you, people come and appreciate you, admire you, they love you, but always part of the mind knows that you are intelligent, maybe you are running company nicely, they're all benefiting. So people around, they know your career, they know your caliber, they know your talent, they know your... But when I went to these random countries with the same t-shirt and same shorts or pant, nothing attractive, and nobody knows what I am, where I am coming from, nobody knows my degree, nothing is there. And for me also, I am sounding like a stranger because this is a new name I am using. And I felt even Vivekanand is too long for people abroad to call me, and I was in East Asia. So I said, I will make it V. I can't make it shorter than that. So they started calling me V. So there was this utter confusion about identity, because nobody knows any past. But I started seeing that people care. A roadside food stall wala, maybe somebody in the cafe, they try to give you more. They want to care for you.
You were wearing mala?
I was wearing mala outside.
Okay.
And people care for you without any background, without any... Then that touched my heart. That love I felt, it is not for my graduation, it is not for my intelligence, it is not for my how I look, it's not for what I am wearing, what I am driving. That is, they are able to connect to something in me, and I could connect to that. And so I'm grateful to those countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Burma, all those countries where experiences after experiences, I realized I didn't run away from my family. My family gotten bigger. And I'm thankful to Osho. And साथ में I was carrying this big book, the Book of Secrets. So that gave me opportunity to experiment with small techniques as I am traveling.
Okay.
And I think chakra sound meditation also was one of the things which accompanied me. So it was fun. It was, I can't say I'm a seeker or I'm doing some meditation, but now looking back, a lot of things happened and settled down in those periods of travel.
Did you meet any Osho sannyasins or anybody there?
Not during that period.
Okay.
Not during that period. Later in Brazil and all, when I was traveling,
You had this passion of traveling. You had this passion of traveling.
Yes. I started, once I saw this world is bigger and I feel home at these places, that became like an addiction. So which made me keep going back to different parts of the world, travel around. So journey become actual journey.
You went to Brazil.
Later on I went around the world. So in Brazil...
Which country you went?
I must have traveled some 19-20 countries.
Oh.
So
Wonder.
But it was nice, and
all alone you were traveling.
Initially I was alone for 1 year. I traveled alone. Then I came back. Then I worked little bit, started another company, and then when I came back with meditation, it was after a year. I realized I need a place to meditate, so I started a Osho center also
in Bangalore
for 3-4 years.
Okay.
So I was involved with the center. So after that I traveled again, leaving all of that.
You had earned enough money to spend in traveling and all.
Money also happened, I don't know, there is some grace when things which I didn't plan to save money, because first time when I traveled there was not much money and somehow I was not scared. Even second time I quit, it was start of everything was coming together. I was seeing the meditation center was in a residential area, and Bangalore development authorities were trying to enforce some rules. And all the sannyasins were worried, and I was laughing. If it need to go, it will go. And the division I was managing in a company that got sold.
Okay.
So everything was indicating that it is good time for me to take the second break, and I just followed that. And the timing was so good that I got good stock options and a good paid consultancy option for next 6 months. So there was good saving, and it's not planned by me. I'm telling this only because when I followed the signs and the path which felt natural without resisting, the support came. And support is not my making or my planning. People think other way. They say I make so much money, I will quit when I become successful. It does not happen that way. If it has to happen, everything else will come. And that's when I quit and came to Nisarga.
Okay. Which year was that?
It was 2006.
And you stayed quite a time in Nisarga.
I stayed initially 1 to 2 years. I stayed inside. Of course, I was traveling in between. I was relating to another person. We were traveling together at that time. I landed in Nisarga just a few days before their first inauguration camp.
Okay.
Neelam had come to Bangalore some months ago. Through my center, we had organized her camp there. That's how I knew.
Okay.
And so I came there.
Okay.
But then I started liking it. I lived there for almost 1 to 2 years. And then took a house in the village, next village for next 4 or 5 years. Lived in that village. Used to go to Nisarga every evening for white robe and travel around a few months in between.
Then what next?
That was the second settling period. Nisarga is the place where I went through many therapies and many meditations deeper. So it gave me that opportunity. And also it gave me a little bit more opportunity about life. Few things living in a corporate world. I mean, okay, I can manage company, but going to kitchen, cooking, see, we are not in touch with life, I would say. And that is what scares. We say we are free, but we are not free till we are able to be self-sustained. And in Nisarga, I remember Neelam calling me one of the days to arrange the room and showing how to fold the bed sheet without crease and arranging the bed. So learning these basic skills, the cleaning, the standards of cleanliness, and Osho's appreciation of aesthetics, and accepting all that work and enjoying. So it showed me richness to Osho's world. And so from being a technology person, it started opening my door to art and creativity and other dimensions. So I think that is where my growth happened.
Can you say something about your novel?
This is during COVID when I sat down and I used to write poetry or small articles. I said, let me see if I can start writing something longer. So I wanted to put some of my travel experiences. I had just come out of dealing with death, dying from seeing Neelam, Tathagat and all. So all of it started forming into a story. So it's a fiction. It is portrayed as a fiction.
Fiction is story.
But in the essence, it covers two paths: path of meditation and path of love.
Okay.
Or path of life and path of death, you can say. So novel itself starts in a retreat on living and dying. About two characters traveling different paths inside and outside in the world. So it's a full-length novel, about 70,000 words novel. Right now I have published electronically.
You have plans to print it?
Hopefully, yeah, maybe audio book first, audio version first, and then actual print publishing. I'm also trying to contact some publishers. It's in that process.
And what name you give to this?
I have given the name Thus Came, Thus Gone, because one is that is name of Buddha, the Tathagata. It also indicates transient life, and even in the novel, love happens in different places but keep on changing. As a friend, as a mother, as somebody, as a stranger. So it keeps changing, but there is love in all the forms. And same way the meditation starts happening, the playing with the edge of life starts happening in all its flavors, but everything is changing. Everything is changing till it comes to some understanding and crescendo. So to capture that moment, the name which came was Thus Came, Thus Gone.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your experiences. It was very touching to me what you said.
Thank you
had
so
really very rare way of living, you know. Normally people don't dare to live like that.
I feel it is Master's rare master. He opened that blessing and giving that courage to take these paths, travel these paths. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Osho.
Thank you. Thank you very much.